What's going on, everybody? I've decided I want to start filming content, and there was a lot of different types of content I want to do, from true crime to sports to just everything in between. So I just decided to just create a channel where I can do them all. And I decided for my first video, as a Cowboys fan, as a massive Cowboys fan, I just do a preview, as it may be, into the upcoming 2023-2024 season. So I think we got to start with the end of last season. It was incredibly a disappointing season because Dak led the league in interceptions without having played the entire season, and that was the first time in a lot of Cowboys fans' minds that Dak let the team down. And in years past, in a lot of Cowboys fans' minds, it was Dak carrying the team, Dak kind of pushing the team, and then the team letting Dak down. And last year it was the opposite. It was Dak throwing interceptions, leading the league in interceptions when he didn't play the full season. And I think this year, for a lot of Cowboys fans, is really a make or break year when it comes to Dak, when it comes to his play in his position as the starter. And I think in probably Jerry's mind as well, because last year, with the way it ended, it is incredibly disappointing. I think you could see that in Jerry's face as he was talking at the end of the season, and how incredibly disappointed he was and how the season ended. Sorry for all the noise. I'm just kind of filming outside because I live in Florida, so I figured it'd be nice to film outside. So the team this year is incredibly talented. You never know how the team's going to do, but I think if the team, and Dak in particular, doesn't play well, I think there's going to be a lot of shake-up in the year after this year. I think Dak's job isn't going to be guaranteed if he plays poorly. Zeke's gone. I don't know if we're going to resign him at this point. We might after I film this video. We're not sure, but he doesn't have anyone else to blame. Zeke's gone. We have a lot of incredible talent. We've had a lot of talented teams over the years, and we've just never been able to put it together. We've never been able to solve the equation of winning a Super Bowl. And hopefully this is the season, and hopefully, and as I am a giant Dak fan, I hope Dak can prove everybody wrong. But we have to see what happens because Dak, you don't know what Dak's going to do, because the NFL is, in my opinion, the toughest, lost my train of thought. The toughest sport in all of the major American professional sports to play. But, and being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback is the hardest position out of those sports to play, in my opinion, because the limelight's so big, the criticism's so intense that, you're under a bigger limelight than you are playing for other teams. And, the fans are going to let you know right off the bat if you're playing well, if you're not, whatever the situation is. So the fans are going to let you hear it. And I think that's another thing weighing on them as well. But, as professional athletes, they're not concerned about that. But the fans are, and the fans are going to turn on him, I think. I hope they don't, because I'm still a big Dak supporter, like I said. But I think the fans will turn on him if, he plays terrible this year. And I think his job won't be guaranteed if he continues to play bad, if he continues to have another season of lackluster performance, when all the fans and our owner, Jerry Jones, the crazy man that he is, expects us to make a Super Bowl run. As the Cowboys, we're expected to be a contender every year, and we haven't been. And that's made a lot of people angry that work for the team. It's made a lot of the fans angry. So I think, it's a make or break year, like I keep saying. I don't mean to keep using cliches, but I think it's a make or break year for us. And I think, looking around the East, I think we're in a good position to win the division. We're in a good position to make a run for the title, like we always are, because it's always an incredibly competitive division. It hasn't been recently, but last year it kind of got back to being the competitive division that I grew up watching. So I think, you don't know what's going to happen. The Commanders are a mess. I think the biggest challenge for the Cowboys this year for the East title is going to be the Eagles, because the Eagles are absolutely incredible. Their team's loaded, our team's pretty loaded as well. So I think those are going to be some incredible games. I'm not going to sit here and predict what our record's going to be, because you never know what's going to happen. But just like Jerry Jones and just like all of the other Cowboys fans, I expect us to make a run deep into the playoffs and hopefully at a Super Bowl. And anything less than that is incredibly disappointing, because it's the Dallas Cowboys. We're expected to be contenders. We're the richest team in all of sports, according to Forbes, basically every year. Jerry's not afraid to spend the money, but the money is not coming to fruition with championships. It's not coming to fruition with bringing championships back into the building. So I think Jerry's bound to do anything if we don't come out with the championship this year. So talking about some other teams around the league, I think Pittsburgh is another really good contender, because their defense is stacked, their offense is incredible. You could start naming players, but I think Pittsburgh in the AFC is my early favorite contender. The NFC is wide open. Everyone can talk about their favorite contenders and the stats and everything like that, but you never know who's going to come out on top. But I think for my way too early season prediction, I think the Steelers are probably the team to beat in the AFC, because they're just loaded. Their defense is loaded, their offense is loaded. I think they got a really good chance to make it really far in the season this year. So, but you never know what's going to happen. I keep saying, feels like I'm kind of babbling at this point, but I think the Steelers are the favorite in the AFC, just because of their teams. Their teams are always really good, even if their teams are just always good. You got Mike Tomlin as their head coach, which a lot of guys love playing for, but a lot of their fans I have a love-hate relationship with, from everything I've seen. I'm not a Steelers fan, obviously, like I said, but yeah, I think the Steelers are the team to beat in the AFC as far as the way too early season prediction. The NFC, I think if Dallas plays the way we're supposed to, I think we're right up there with any contenders. I think the Eagles are always the favorite recently because of how good their team's been. They've been to the Super Bowl. They played in the Super Bowl. And honestly, I think that they were robbed that Super Bowl, to be honest. Going into halftime, they were up by 10 points. And then the second half, they just started getting calls against them. I thought it was a terribly called second half, a terribly called game. And I thought the Eagles should have won that game. But that's neither here nor there. But just talking about, looking at the Dallas this season, I think it's entirely possible that we make a run at it. It's also entirely possible that we stink it up and we play awful all year and Jerry cleans house. When it comes to the AFC, like I said, right now Pittsburgh's my early favorite for winning the AFC, because I think they're that good. I think their team has the possibility to be that good. So that's my video on kind of talking about the Cowboys and a little bit around the NFL and what I think is going to happen this year.